Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Welcome to PT Paranormal. Hey, Paul, you doing, Mike? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Tony. Yep. Cool.
Yeah, basically everyone that's joining us at the moment, if you either on Facebook or other platforms, cover the PT Paranormal on Facebook, then we can actually answer your questions. We've got a special guest today joining us, a bit different to the norm what we had last week and the week before, but very, very interesting. And I'll leave Paul to obviously tell you a bit more about the guests that we've got on today.
Yeah, so guys, if you could if you want to share our video, if you want to create a watch party so your friends can see the video also, please do that. That would be great, wouldn't it, Tony? So, and we will, like I say, if you have any questions as well. So, guys, so tonight we have a gentleman by the name, as you can see, his name's come up there, Ali, whose microphone keeps going off. Bear with us. I'll just unmute that. Right. There we go. And Ali is a life coach. So, evening, Ali. How are you? No, you're... You've muted your mic. You've muted your mic. I tell you what, I'm gonna lose you. Okay, I'm gonna remove you, Ali, and we'll get you back in. You should have just left everything as it was, and Tony and I will tell you from experience: don't touch anything.
Never touch nothing.
Never touch anything. Okay, so I'm just gonna remove you. Bring yourself back in, and as soon as I see you, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there he was. Right.
Ali, got two.
Wow.
Oh, you're back. Okay, we've got two of you now. How have I done that?
The thing is, I haven't even touched anything.
Right.
It's paranormal.
It's going to be one of those nights, everyone. Right, hang on. Let's there we go. That's it. Right, it's going to definitely be one of those nights. Oh, great. Good evening, everyone that's joining us this evening. So thank you very much for being here. Anyway, Ali, let's go. Now we can hear you again. Let's go back over to you for you to tell us all about what it is that you actually do as a profession. And he's gone again. We can't hear you. Your mic's gone.
That's what he does as a profession. He's a magician. He can make mics go on and off.
You've gone.
Technology, eh? Who needs
Technology. See, this is what happens.
See, back on the beach.
It's our fault. You know what happens, Tony, when we get together?
Yeah, things don't work.
Things don't work. Right, let's see if I can.
Oh, there's another early now. Look, there's loads of them joining.
Yeah, we got loads of him, right? He's not there. Right. Yeah, your mic is still gone. Right. I tell you what, I've removed him. Okay.
Love it.
Let's come back again. Right. Can we hear you now? No, we can't hear you. Yes, Colin, when tech goes wrong. Hi, guys. I know you're all here. I know you're all kind of waving at us. We're having a moment where me and Tony here. See, it was you earlier on, Tony, before we went live.
Yeah.
That sounded as if you was on helium. And now we've got Ali. Can you hear me? Yeah. Right. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to remove you from the live stream completely. Yeah. Okay. Then I'm going to bring you, then just click on the link and bring yourself back in again. And let's see if that resets everything. So I'm just going to kick you from the studio. No offense, mate, but there we go. And bring you back in. But as always, I always say that it's really good as a dress rehearsal that until things go wrong, you never know how to change it. So, anyway, let's say hello to everybody that's coming in. I'm stressed. I want to go home. Oh, anyway. Evening, Steve. How you doing? Julie, how you doing? Colin, how you doing, mate? Who else? Mel. Won't be staying long. Uni life is making me very tired. Yeah. Trust me, I'm not staying long too tonight. Rodney, how you doing, mate? There you go. Let's just say everyone. Who we got else? Bianca.
Hey.
Patricia.
Hi, Patricia.
Who else has joined us? Bev, hi there. Thank you very much. I'll just shout out to everyone. Let's see if we can get Ali back in again. Ali, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hey, fantastic. Do not touch anything. Take your hands away from any device that you are using. And
Ben.
Patricia, thanks very much for sharing it to the groups. Yeah, guys, if you can share it out, we will very much appreciate it. Amanda, I thank you very much for joining us. Who else? Lynn, hi there. Thank you very much for joining us also. And right. So anyway, Ali, now we can hear you.
Yeah.
And now my stress levels are going through the roof. So maybe we should all do a meditation.
And there we go. Just imagine yourself. You have a forest behind you.
With a lovely sea view as well.
Yeah, and a sea view. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, right. Ali, let's come back to you for the moment. You are a life coach, and that is what you've set yourself up for. So come on, for those at home that are tuning in that don't quite understand what life coaching is all about, do you want to tell the listeners at home, viewers at home, a little bit about it, please?
Yeah, sure. There's two elements to life coach. If I start with the first one, you've got counseling, and then you got life coaching. So life coaching, basically we look what's that your current situation, and then we move that forward. And then we do counseling, look at what problem you have in the past to bring you to the current. But I normally join them together because you need both to work together in order for somebody to move forward. This is a simple thing. This is a simple answer for that. Basically, I just give you the keys to unlock your potential.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a simple explanation for what I do. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And so is there any other aspect to your work that you do? Is it just the life coaching?
Yes, there's so you got life coaching, counseling, and I'm actually a healer as well.
Okay.
And a intuitive psychic medium, not like you, Paul. I've over time I've actually obtained these kind of healing and knowledge which I received.
Right.
And I actually use all of them combined together. Yeah. In order to progress somebody ahead in life.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a few elements. I just don't do life coach. So it depends what somebody needs when when a client come and sit in front of you, and they will normally tell you what they actually want to achieve. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. I mean, and Tony, for those people that are a little bit more familiar with yourself, you are a personal trainer, so you're a coach yourself. How would you kind of say when you were coaching people with their fitness? Would you say that you kind of like bringing in that element of, I guess, life coaching as well?
Yeah. Well, the personal training side of it is literally for people. I always say it's more of a mental side because a lot of people are going through struggles, whether it's for losing weight or just in general feeling unhealthy or feeling low in a mood. So it kind of becomes like a counselling job as well as just personal training, because you get to learn their story and watch them grow, develop, change their life around. So it's kind of similar to obviously like anything in life, you're helping people grow just on a different journey, I guess, and making them feel more positive about themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And And this is obviously going to be the same, with what I do with the mediumship and the intuitive counseling, is taking people on that journey of discovery, eh?
Yeah.
So Ali, if I was coming to you now, and I was looking, because not everybody understands life coaching, they're not always sure what it is about. Who would be the type of people, would you say, that are going to come and seek out that service?
Yeah, the regular clients I have is somebody's having a relationship issues,
Right.
but that would bring both element of counseling and life coaching. But if somebody's looking for job, somebody's looking, they don't know what to do in their life, and I will normally set up a plan of basically that client will need to help me to understand what they want to achieve.
Okay.
And life coaching basically together will actually progress that client for you, if just to go ahead in life. It's compared to counseling, where you have to just there'll be a lot of sitting down and listening to what they have to say. On the coaching, it's everything is proactive, and you have to literally say, come on, we need to do this. And I have to make constant phone calls and emails, and just to find out where that client went. So I've actually got a progress report to actually to track record that client.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So it's more of a not pushy, but you need that client to move forward of what they've told you.
Right. Okay. So, for those viewers this evening, if you have any questions for Ali, maybe it works in the same way, similar to if perhaps you was asking, a medium or a psychic, a question. If you have any questions about kind of like life, and maybe you've got any kind of difficulties or you feel stuck, then please send those questions in, and we'll explore them, and we'll get Ali to answer them. If you have a question, even just don't look at Tony and I as being here, or Tony especially as being the paranormal expert. If you've got any questions about your own health or anything like that, let's bring in those kind of questions as well. For you, for you guys, so like I said, this is the reason why we kind of set up these live streams. It's not just about scaring you. We're taking you on paranormal investigations, although that's quite a lot of it. But we set up this Monday evening live stream to incorporate many different belief systems, many different ideas, to really show everybody really what is out there and what is available to them when we go on this more of holistic journey, shall we say, through life. And and for those of us that are here in the UK, and we've all felt this, haven't we, guys, where this weekend Caroline Flax, well-known TV presenter, committed suicide, took her own life. And nobody really knows the full extent of perhaps why she did that. Obviously the blames and the accusations are going all over the place as to why she could have done it. But, this is, as a result of, the world that we live in at the moment, the modern day world that we all live in. And as we all say, you never really know what's going on behind those closed doors, do you? And, and I think, for us to be able to talk about, it's always been a taboo subject to talk about mental health, especially men's mental health.
Yeah.
But I think it's good that it's becoming more open. People are talking about it. It makes people uncomfortable, admittedly. But I think, the more we can understand it, the more it helps us to help people when they are struggling, to recognize the signs. And, it's not always that, person that's, you know, being very dramatic about life. No disrespect to anyone. Don't mean that pointed. It's always that person that suddenly goes quieter on us or changes direction or personality in some way that, you know, is the ones that we need to look out for. What do you reckon, guys?
I think personally, it's a stress of life. Everyone's in a rush, no time for themselves, no time to think, to escape the world. If they've got kids, especially, you know, they're working, there's no time for themselves in general to sort of think, switch off, close off from the world. We just live in a crazy world where everyone's in a rush, and it's only till you step outside into nature and stuff, you let go of it all. And I think if everyone did that, or they had the chance to do it, it can make a big difference.
Yeah,
but it's just the world we live in, and I think it's more out there now because the world has changed into a crazy place, in my opinion, at times, especially if you live in cities and stuff. So I don't know about Ali. What do you think, mate?
Yeah, totally agree with you. To be honest with you, at some point in time, we need to put that phone down. We need to put that laptop, PC down, technology down. We need to go out there in nature, like you said, go for a walk. Even at night, just look at the sky. And the key for that is, you know, is talk. Always talk to somebody. You need communication. The minute you will know, somebody will stop talking to you, and you probably, who is that?
It's paranormal.
I heard some background noise.
It wasn't me.
It's paranormal. Something's coming through.
Yeah, so it's literally, you know, the magical thing for me is for, you know, for all the guy who's watching is communication. You can stay silent, but always reach out for somebody. Just talk to somebody, open up, and you will find yourself, after you've had a talk, you will feel much better.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people have lost that ability because of the internet. People don't talk no more. Families don't communicate, and this is one of the things. You know, there are a lot of people that cry out on Facebook and stuff, and you know they put their emotions there, and a lot of people just don't look at it, and that's a sad factor. They've lost that communication with their family, friends, because most people do rely on technology nowadays. If they're not on their phone, I mean, I go to the gym, and it's just amazing how many people are plugged in with the earphones, and you know, and I'm thinking that's your time away. Surely have a workout, and they can't get away from that, and I think that makes things a lot worse for people because they're not really spending time outdoors. They're not really doing it for themselves. It's all about computers, technology, and if they're at work in the office all day, that's not going to help. And also, you go home, you're on a computer. So I just think the outdoors makes a big difference, nature, and as I said earlier on. But also, it's with the personal training side of it. It's amazing how many people change. They change their actual ways and stuff. Like after a bit of exercise, the mentality changes. They're more active in general, happy. The endorphins start kicking in the mind. You know, and it's just nice to see someone change their mentality around just by doing exercise, which they do. So
you have a ghost in your towel.
Yes, it's
paranormal activity.
It was me. I don't know. Minus, the lights not going out now. Look, flash on, paranormal. There you go.
Oh, Tracy was asking just a little while ago, but obviously we're just chatting there, and I didn't want to kind of jump in, so I'm just going to bring her question up on the screen now. And if you can read it. So I suffer from, I can never pronounce that.
Fibromyalgia.
Fibromyalgia.
Caused by traumatic experience. I've had several. How would life coaching help? I've actually suffered with that, believe it or not. Funny enough, I got diagnosed with it. Don't suffer with it, but the doctor, I had it for about a spell, 6 months, and they reckon it was a seasonal thing. And then I had it a couple of years ago, and it never came back after that. It's horrible, absolutely.
Does it affect you more in the winter than the summer?
It was the mid-change, because there is a seasonal thing called where it changed. Like literally, it was between coming off summer into the winter periods. But they actually just in the endorphins in the body. But I suffered it for a good 3-4 months, and it was just horrible. It comes on literally, and it just feels like your whole body shuts down. It's not a nice.
It is a difficult one. It's a very difficult one. I've got one of my best friend actually, who I see quite often. He suffered from exactly the same condition. The best advice is for, from because he's experienced for a while now, is to get out of that bed and keep moving. The minute, because it's all in the head as well.
Of
So
course,
you have to get moving and you have to talk to people. The secret, I know you just want to stay in bed and stay there, but sometimes he stay there for days
you see
until
that.
we actually go upstairs and see him and get him to come down. So other people need to know your condition so they can understand and relate to that, and so they can help you. I personally haven't helped anyone with that, but I know him really well, how he live his life, and I do try to help him, try to come down and talk to us. And yeah, he suffered from his, everything aches and joint. It's so difficult to explain if somebody don't know what it is. It's so difficult.
I would say though, just obviously on the health side of it, if you are really suffering quite bad, go for a sauna at least 3 times a week. If they put one of these in hospitals, it would change the world. It takes the inflammation down, and also great for the detox of the body, but you'll feel 10 times better. So if anything, that may help and just take a bit of relief for the inflammation.
Yeah, exactly. Just to kind of change that, only because this has caught my attention, just to kind of change things slightly, and then I've got another question for you, Ali. Lynn says that our son took his life at 42. Does their spirit go to heaven? So I just wanted to kind of jump in, because we've talked about Caroline Flack taking her own life. As a spiritual medium, I deal with an enormous amount of suicides that have come through. Yes, so it's a complicated process, but just to explain it, that they go to a place of what I call a place of healing, so whatever, was troubling the mind needs to be healed. So that as we pass in to the spirit world, I always advise, if I know somebody is contemplating taking their own life, I will always do everything I can to divert them from that. However, if we do take it, I always say it's not the get out clause that we think it is. It is not. But we go to that place, if you like, a hospital, in the same way that we would have a hospital here, where we are given the help, the support, if we want it, if we need it, that helps us to recover from the emotional trauma of whatever caused us to take our own life. It's always a difficult one. It's always a difficult one, and never really an easy one to deal with.
No.
Ali Bev's got a question here for you. She says, on relationships, if a man distances themselves from you, should you back off completely if you want them to come back?
I would say yes, you should. Just literally, sometimes it's good to back yourself off the situation. Give time is a great healer. I personally believe in that. And just wait and see what happens. But you should, if you want to get back and try to reach the man again, please do. But there's no harm in doing that. But I have to say that definitely time is time. Give the person time if they want time, and it's good for you as well to have some time for yourself. I believe everything happened for a reason.
I agree with that, to be fair. I think sometimes even just to separate for a while, and maybe it might make you stronger.
Definitely.
That just having that time just to sort of do your own thing, and and then you may miss each other more. So it can it can go both ways, I suppose. If you both love each other or care about each other, it fizzes itself out. I'm sure.
It just give you that time to think about the situation and then take whatever action you need to do.
Yeah. I mean, I was giving somebody, I won't go into any detail, I was giving somebody a reading this morning, and literally just kind of in the last week or so, they had split up from their partner of a year, which I didn't get that indication to begin with, but all of the images that I was seeing were things that they were talking about, things we're planning, and I was still seeing them doing this into the future. And then it was only when I got a little way into the reading that I went, I'm talking about your partner, and I'm now being shown that you've split up from your partner just recently. And and it was a guy, and he said, yeah, that you're absolutely right. And similar to yourself then, Ali, it was helping him to find a way, because here was the difficulty. This relationship has ended. They're no more, but they're still connected. They're still communicating.
Yeah.
But spiritually, I'm seeing into the future them still being in that relationship. So then it's quickly coming back to the present moment. I haven't got both of them with me, so I can't work with both of them. I've only got one. How can I find a way to help these two heal the trauma of what's going on with them at the moment, and then move forwards? And very similar to yourself, Ali, and what you were saying is that then it's discovering what the control dramas are, what the issues are, what it is that they're fighting about. Is it really that important, and can we reset?
Correct. Yeah, definitely.
And I always say this, guys. I look at it this that everything that happens, all conflict is a result of a loss of sacred energy. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. So looking at it spiritually, all conflict, I'm not just talking about the little niggles, but that expression of when we kind of go, my blood is boiling, where does it come from? Our blood isn't boiling. It's actually the first sign that we've suddenly lost our energy. So that aura, that energy field is now depleted. So when we're having a conversation, the energy comes into us, from, let's say, the divine. That energy comes into us. That energy, like a jug, fills us up. And as we're communicating, we pass the energy on. And that can be done through a screen like this. It works exactly the same way. We pass that energy on to those that we're talking about. Where it goes wrong in conflict, and I'm talking spiritually now, where it goes wrong in conflict is that, especially when we're used to people and we're comfortable with them, we've got problems. We've got kind of all kinds of stuff going on in our head. And sometimes because of all the clutter, we've disconnected without us realizing from our divine source of energy that's coming down into us. So what happens is the exchange of energy is just between two people. Now, eventually, that energy becomes depleted as we go through our daily lives. It gets depleted, and it only takes for one of them for their energy to run out. And suddenly we start to draw or steal energy from the other person. The moment that happens, that's when we have the effect of my blood's boiling, and suddenly it's a sign that we want to react. And of course, what happens is it forces all of our fears and emotions to come forward, and we react to our fears and emotions rather than reacting to the situation at hand. Whereas if we was engaged in our energy spiritually, we would react to it completely differently.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it also is to do with the stresses of life. If you've got kids, it's hard sometimes to make time for your partners and stuff, or it depends on everyone's life. If you're literally just you two, it's not so bad. But if you've got other parties in the actual situation, that makes it more difficult. The stresses of work, life, everyone's got a different story to tell, in my opinion, and so you've got to treat it differently. You can't just say it's going to work for someone. It may not work for someone if they're not telling you the 100% truth of what's going on behind the scenes. So it really comes down to what's going on, rather than, do you think it'll work if we give each other time apart?
Yeah.
Does the other party want to make it work? So it's got to work on both ways. You may want it to work, but it may not work for the other person. So it's kind of a hard question, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I just say something? I think meditation and visualization is the key. I use that, but in my past situation and current situation, for me it works. Literally 1 or 2 minutes just sit down and just reflect and just visualize, you will find by taking yourself out of the current situation and deep breath, get your energy back in, and you will get you thinking straight as well.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
we need that in this day and age, especially with all people working and stuff, and if they've got kids. I think meditation definitely helps because you've got to have somewhere to escape the world. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, you definitely have. This one's a little bit for me, guys. So I'm just going to answer this from Melissa, and she said, "Paul, ever since I was 19 and I'm 50 now, everyone that reads cards have told me I can't read you. You have a gift. What does that mean?" Hang on, let me just read this because I think I read it wrong. Paul, ever since I was 19 and I'm 50 now, everyone that reads cards have told me I can't read you. You have a great gift. What does that mean? Sorry, Melissa, I've actually read your message wrong, and I thought I read something else, and now I'm reading it back on the big screen. I'm not quite sure what you mean. Can you just confirm, if you're still listening to us, is this what you're saying, is if you go for a card reading, people are unable to read you? Is that what you're asking for? If you would come back to me on that one, I would appreciate it, because I didn't quite understand. And this is what happens is when we just write a short message, it's always difficult with that terminology, isn't it? So Cheryl, we put up that white light of protection, but we all get stressed and vulnerable at times. Yeah, we do, don't we? I mean, Tony, do you do Ali was talking there about meditation. Is that something that you practice yourself?
Yeah, I do a lot of meditation. I do a lot of frequencies as well, which I use at home. I use on investigations as well, which I believe helps a lot. But yeah, to be fair, the meditation side of it, I tend to take myself away with nature and do it outdoors. Indoors is, it's great for people that can't get out. I think it really helps to escape the world. But for me, I'm more of an outdoors person anyway. So you'll tend to see me just sort of switching off from the world, taking myself away from the internet, taking my phone stays at home, and just escaping it that way, and just closing myself off from everything and everyone. And that helps me a lot, and I'm sure it would many people. But if you can't get out, then obviously meditation at home, relaxing, learning to switch off helps a million times better for anyone. I think it does work. Yeah, exactly. So Melissa just come back to me. She said, yes. So my interpretation of her message was right. Yeah, it's always a difficult one, and you encounter it. Sometimes I encounter it myself and it doesn't happen often, where I will get somebody that walk through the door and I just cannot work with them. Okay, not that they're being not that they're being difficult, not that they're problematic, not that there's anything wrong with them, but you're just not making a connection. Sometimes it happens, and yes, so I think if I'm understanding your question right, Melissa, you said you've gone to many card readers that haven't been able to read you. Let's do it. Let's change it a little bit. Rather than you going to many card readers, why don't you wait until Spirit are directing you? Yeah, this is what they do. Yeah, sometimes we can go to a reader because we've just kind of found them. Sometimes we go to a reader because Spirit have directed them to us. The signs are very subtle, but they're their kind of thing. So maybe I'm just throwing this out there. It could be that they're trying to guide you to the right person. And so far, with the greatest respect to anyone you've ever been to, maybe they haven't been the right person to work with you, and they're trying to guide you to somebody else. I don't know. I'm just kind of going along that at the moment. But, again, it does happen. I experience it from time to time, where for some reason you just cannot make a link. And there can be a number of different reasons why you can't make a link, and it does happen. So so guys, if you've got any other sort of questions that you want to ask Tony or Ali about life coaching, please send those questions into us. It would be great to
hear them as well, and that keeps our conversation going. And I know that Tony's been, because I can see it coming up, Tony's been sharing watch parties everywhere. I've shared it also. So guys, if you are on those watch parties and you want to come over to PT Paranormal page, you will be able to interact with us. I know we can, I know some of you are commenting on the pages, but we're not actually seeing you kind of unless we're actually watching elsewhere. We're focusing here, so we're not seeing. So come across the PT Paranormal page. So Tony, now, so what happened on Tuesday?
Tuesday?
Yeah.
How do you mean what happened on Tuesday? What, the investigation?
So today is Monday. Yes, there you go.
No. Oh, what, the investigation you're about?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't think we were going to tell them just yet.
Oh, okay. Are we not?
Well,
Okay.
we can tell them bits about it. It was a bit
bits. Yeah, we can get them excited for next week.
Basically, we went to this fort that was allegedly haunted. I don't believe in people's stories and what. I always go in and judge myself. And on camera, it's almost like we were being played with the whole time. To be fair, stuff was going off as we were walking off, that kind of thing. But yeah, something was moving the door on with the camera that we left the door on, and it was doing it for a fair. To be fair, I don't know how many people didn't pick up on it, but the camera was waving around like that on the door as if it was someone picking it up and moving it, and tapping it as well, which is quite bizarre. We caught this weird shape-shifting orb. Some people would say it's dust, but if dust shape shifts, and I always say to them, well, it's still paranormal because I've not seen dust do that before. But it was really bizarre. We weren't there for that long, to be fair, and lots happened in that space of time. But again, it's all visually. So I will say to anyone that does investigations, it's always good to leave cameras lying around. Just, you never know what you're going to pick up on, rather than carrying it around with your hand. Place one down and walk around with one. But it was really interesting. Some really interesting chapters.
Yeah, so guys, obviously the reason why I've sort of kind of brought that up is that next week we won't have a guest with us. It's just going to be, I say it's just going to be me and Tony, but it will be Tony and myself. And if all goes well, we will be showing you clips of that footage, which is being put together at the moment. So Tony will put it out as soon as he can. It does take a time to kind of put this stuff together. So he's going to put that video out for you guys to see. But then next week we're going to have clips of some of the stuff that we've done, and we're going to be showing you those clips live, and we're going to be chatting about it. So next week is definitely going to be all about the paranormal. So Ali, have you ever done a paranormal investigation?
I have. I did one a year and a half ago at Bodmin Jail.
Right.
It's not far from here, but it was very interesting. We capture orbs, and when we have you been to Bodmin Jail?
Tony, you haven't you?
Oh, you have.
I've been there. A fair few times now, but it's a great place. There's a lot going on there.
It's an amazing place.
But
we went downstairs in all the way down in the cellar. Yeah, you could hear. We heard a couple of big bangs. Actually, it was amazing. I have to say. Yeah,
it's one of them places if you haven't been, you've got to go and at least visit once. And the thing is, the paranormal, it never happens all the time. It's never on cue like you want it to. I mean, I went there, and the first time I visited there, like literally, I caught an apparition. We were only there for 45 minutes, and the lights turned out, which they couldn't explain because it all belongs to one circuit. That was on the basement, and then the apparition appeared. It just happened so quickly. But again, it's you could be there for 8 hours and nothing happens, but in a space of 10, 20 minutes, boom!
I tell you what, we had. Sorry, we had a spirit box with us, and I actually asked, how did you die? Yeah. I asked about 6 times. They came back hung. I thought when I first heard it, I mean, there was 3 of us, I think, upstairs. I thought it was just because, you go through so many cycles so fast, and you cannot get another repetition again, if it's got a different frequency from somewhere else. It happened like 6 times. and we asked, "Are you a male or a female?" It came back as I think it was a female, and we asked how many of you were here as well, and they came back as 6. But the funny thing is, we left the camera there. When we left, I think it was upstairs. It went all the way down the hallway.
Yeah.
We actually saw 6 orbs follow us all the way. I've got all the footage on Facebook. I can share it with you guys. It was amazing. Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of people are very sort of skeptical of orbs and stuff. And even I'm obviously with dust and stuff, with you and infrared cameras, but I've seen orbs to the naked eye, and I've caught many with actual members of public where we've all seen it all together. And even like, what is that? What's that ball like, kind of thing? And it's caught on camera. So for me, I always say keep an open mind. Same with the spirit box. I know people ain't they're very sort of, oh, it's the radio, but at the end of the day, I don't use it personally. But I'm not here to criticize anyone. It's their own journey, and if it works for them, that's what matters, in my opinion. And I'm sure Paul will agree on that.
Yeah, definitely. But then we've been caught out before, when we went to the Skirrid Inn and we did that live broadcast. We went, oh, we don't use equipment. And look what happened. The whole investigation was all about the equipment and not us. Yeah. So I've learned to keep quiet on that one now.
Yeah, same with me. I mean, to me, I'm because I'm more sort of about the captures. I tend to stay clear from the equipment, but it's not because I don't think it doesn't work. It's just that I prefer to have something caught on camera that I can sort of say, well, that shouldn't be there, kind of thing. Whereas if you focus with the equipment, you're putting your energy into the equipment rather than the actual captures. So I'm more sort of tend to stay clear from that.
Yeah, exactly. Ali, Julie was wondering, what made you become a life coach?
Yeah, it's a very long story. It's my personal experience from where I come from, and in my past jobs and current job, I end up helping a lot of people. Every time I was helping people, they were all saying, "Oh, why don't you make it? You should make a career out of it instead of just advising people." So I'm really passionate about people, and I love observe and watch what people do, how they do things, their body language. I believe in people should be guided and work with together. It's sort of, in my past job, I did a lot of retail area manager, and everything to do. I mean, when I go back, it's all relating to people management, and it's all about guiding them through their careers, advise them what direction they should actually take. Relationship advice. Again, it have to do with my personal one. I do bring my personal experience into it because I've been there. I've experienced it. I do listen to people, what they have to say, and we do share, and basically we just get people out of where they are and just to get them where they want to go and just work with them. Oh, it's gone again.
Leave it like that, mate. It's fine. It's fine to leave it like
that. He's frozen as well. We've lost him. And I was just about to bring up a question from Steve, and we've lost him. Bear with us.
I'm coming.
We can hear you. We can hear you. You're just kind of frozen in the moment.
How about that one?
Right. Hang on. There you go. Right.
Oh.
Hold on. I'll get rid of that one. There we go. Oh, now we've lost the sound again. No, your mic has gone. Oh, I don't know. You just can't get the guess. That's what it is. You're gone. No, you're back. Yeah, right, you're back. That's good. Right, you're good. Right, don't touch nothing. Don't move. Just sit there. That's it. Keep your hands in that position. Right. Ali, now we've got another question for you from Steve this time. So Steve says, I have several health problems and was told when first fell ill that I must not get sick
it will kill me. So basically, it's about maybe at the time I understood, but now I suffer from with anxiety and fear of going out now. How would I reboot to clear my mind?
Yeah, it's a very difficult question, but I think you should always take the medical step first. But you should also speak to your loved ones, speak to very close people around you. It's the willpower to actually do what you want to do if you really want to do it. But yeah, it's a very difficult question. The situation you're in.
Yeah, and I think for you as the life coach, Ali, you could probably you could go into in great depth, but we're probably sit here for the next hour while you go into it in great depth.
You need to probe. You need to fact find all what you need to do a lot of fact find to find out, and then we can move forward. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, Steve, as you know, we've been saying, Tony and I've had this conversation. You're saying, how would I reboot my mind? So in a quick step, meditation is going to help
meditation.
That. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah,
but
yeah.
As Ali and Tony may agree with me on this one. You've got to do it. You have got to do it. You've got to put in the hours. You've got to want to heal. If you don't, then anything that you do is just superficial and will be on the surface. It's like anything, when we heal, we are not just healing and sticking a plaster over it. To truly heal, we have to go into the many layers of who we are as a person, psychologically, emotionally, and even spiritually. And it's only when we are addressing the four corners of ourselves do we really start to transform. But guys, it's one thing I always say is that it starts with you, and you have to want this. Not saying that you would, Steve, or anybody else for that matter. It's very easy to make excuses, isn't it?
I totally agree. It's for me, it's your thought and beliefs. You really need to believe you can do it.
Yeah.
Am I gone again?
Well, we can still hear you, but you're upside down, and
I think it comes down to also the actual medical conditions, though. To be fair, it's easy to say get up and go and do it, but unless you know the full story, we can't really be saying that.
That's correct. Exactly. That's correct.
No, so it is a case of going, obviously, speak to your doctor, your loved ones, people that you care about that are around you, and it's easy for us to sit and say do this and do that. We don't really know your situation, so it's quite a difficult one anyone to answer. To be fair.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And all three of us would have a completely different outlook at it, and in a way it does actually complement, all three of us actually this evening complement each other, because Tony, from the fitness aspect, that's where you come in, Ali, from that life coaching aspect, you're coming in. And then obviously from me, from the more spiritual side of how we see life, that's where I'm coming in. So, it's quite nice that I've been listening to the questions coming in and listening to everyone kind of chatting. And it's quite nice the way that it's all actually, all three of us are actually complementing each other with our own different, experiences of life. So, Steve, hope that's helped you a little bit, but obviously, appreciating that we probably can't go into it, too much. Tim, do you feel that mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual levels on an individual spiritually vibrate different frequencies? If so, are some level, is it easier for spirit world to heal than others? Yeah, I'll jump in there because I understand where you're going there. Yeah, I'm a great believer, Tim, that that there are so many different vibrations. I mean, when you think about, just to simplify it for a moment, just sitting here now, we are being bombarded not only by the different frequencies of the spirit world, but we're being bombarded by radio waves, microwaves, any other kind of frequency that's kind of out there. So, you know, when it comes to healing, it's finding the right frequency for us to heal on. And finding the right frequency for, you know, especially if working as a spiritual healer, to bring in those spiritual guides who are healing, finding the right frequency. And so I think it's very, if I'm understanding it right, Tim, from, you know, what you're saying, you know, it's very important to really know the frequencies that are around you, and to be able to attune your mind to them to get to the place that you need to in order to either self-heal or to you know, help somebody else to heal. You know, and you know, Tony, you'll do this in your coaching, where as you're working with somebody, you know, helping them to with that transformation in their fitness, without probably realizing it, you're attuning in to one particular frequency that works for you to be able to pass that knowledge onto the person that you're working with, you know. And you know, I guess, Ali, exactly the same with you with the life coach.
It is exactly the same. You just need to tune into the correct frequency. Yeah, totally agree with you. Yeah,
100%.
Absolutely. And that led me into something. All right, so thanks guys, giving me a lot to think about and trying to get better. So good luck, Steve, with your journey. We wish you all the best, you know, on that one.
A lot of it comes back to, though, it's like we said at the start, though, it's the world we live in, with all the internet, the technology, how it's advanced so quickly. You know, if you think about in the last 10, 20 years, how suddenly it's just suddenly gone, all the advancements with mobile phones and stuff. It's a big change for everyone, I think. And I think that's made a big effect on the world, on people, on lifestyles, cultures, you know, everything. It's made a big difference to how people think, mental health, the lot. I've seen a big change growing up, so I'm sure Paul has, and I'm sure you have, Ali. So
yeah, definitely agree with you. Yeah.
Well, when I was growing up, I always said that I was never going to have, well, the technology wasn't there. I was never going to have a phone, never going to have a computer, and I wasn't going to have a car. I've now got a phone, I've got a computer, and I've got a car. As a kid, I said I was never going to have those things. Just to tell you guys a little quick story, and you know, I know probably Tony, you know this one already, but just to help our viewers, I'm just going to use me as an example for a moment. Because we're talking about healing, and we're going into that element of why don't we heal, and how does it actually stem from us? So Tony, when I was kind of like your age, I was training horses, very involved. So I was on horseback literally every single day of my life, kind of thing. I was kind of quite fearless. You know, I could ride rodeo horses and stay on them, you know. So, you know, if you ever see the cowboys when they sort of come out, and those kind of horses, you know, I could ride them and stay on to a certain degree. You know, so I was quite fearless when it come to riding. And one day I was going around an exercise track with 6 horses. So if you can imagine, and I was riding kind of more American style rather than British style. So I had the horse that I'm riding here, in my hands. And in my other hand, if you imagine, I've got 5 big horses. So we've got 6 individual animals with a mind of their own, being governed by me to a certain degree, and at any given point anything can go wrong. Well, this one particular time something did go wrong, and the horse that I was riding, it was only a young horse, and it spooked, and she started to rodeo, which was fine. I could stay on her, but what I couldn't control were the other 5 horses that I was leading, who pulled in 5 different directions. And whilst I was able to let go of them, not quick enough before they pulled me backwards over her back, and she panicked and she kicked me right in the base of the spine. She catapulted me onto a fence. I hit the fence with my back, bounced off the fence, and landed in front of the 6 horses that were traveling at about 25 miles an hour, who then ran over me. And hence you can imagine what happened. There I am from the neck downwards and I can't feel my body. I've got movement in my face and I can feel my face, but I can't feel anything else. My natural reaction was to kind of go, there is no way I'm going to be paralyzed for the rest of my life. There's no way I'm going to be in a wheelchair. There is no way I'm going to get off this track and I'm going to walk. That's not going to happen, knowing that I couldn't feel my body from here. So straight away, and obviously I was already on my spiritual journey. So straight away, I put myself into a protective kind of bubble, if you like, where I wouldn't allow my fear thoughts to come in. Oh my God, and I wouldn't allow myself to feel it. I switched off my emotions completely to everything and just went, I'm going to get off this track. I'm going to walk off this track on my own two legs. I'm going to do it. And I was lying there and I couldn't move. By the time the ambulance came, maybe about 20 minutes later, suddenly I felt movement. And I didn't wait. I didn't hurry. I didn't kind of take my time. I just kind of went, I can feel the movement. I'm going to get off onto my legs. And I did. I God knows how I did it, but I suddenly stood up. Everyone's kind of, no, stay there, stay there, don't move. And I got up and I came to my legs. Yeah. And I walked. Then I fell over and obviously they came with the stretcher. Jump the story a little bit, but obviously because of that, even though I didn't break my back or do any serious damage, I done enough damage to spend an enormous amount of time in chronic pain, and I mean chronic pain to the point I couldn't move. Yeah, that was crippling, that was taking over my life physically and emotionally. Again, determined I wasn't going to stay like that. I then spent, from my early 30s, then finding different holistic ways, as well as incorporating medical practices as well, on how to heal my body, but knew I had to go into every layer. So it had to be psychological, it had to be physical, it had to be spiritual, energetic as well. I'm not going to lie, it took me 15 years to rebuild and to remove myself from the pain, but I did it. And now, 55, I'm completely pain-free, and I believe that I have a fitter and younger and healthier body than I did when I was kind of in my 30s, because of what I put myself through. So sorry to kind of take the live stream over a little bit there, but just kind of wanted to show you how it is possible to heal from pain, but it takes time and it takes a lot of dedication. Otherwise, it just doesn't happen.
Wow. That's an amazing story, though.
Yeah, and I can still remember it like it was today. But yeah. But like I said...
Now you're like Yoda. I always call you Paul Yoda when he's out, like, back flips and stuff, and whales are there.
Yeah, but I mean, I can do yoga positions that I couldn't have done when I was even, your age, Tony. Where I can just kind of lift my body up, and there's certain positions I can't get into because my spine's fused a little bit because of the accident, but. I can balance myself on my hands and put myself in all kinds of, positions, by using internal strength. But, it's
kind of cool with that question from Steve, like never give up earlier on. And, it's a sort of inspiration story, never give up, hope, always believe and keep fighting. And I think that's a good way to end the show, in opinion, for everyone, where it's mental health or physical battles. It's just keep fighting the fight.
Yeah, absolutely, Tony. So right. Ali, we are coming to the end of our live stream, unfortunately, and that hour that we're with everyone, it just goes so quick, but thank you very much. I'm just going to hand you over to Tony for a minute, but how do we find you?
Yeah, you can have a look on my website, quantumhealing.com.
Right.
And QUANTTUM.
I thought you spelled it differently. That's why I asked.
It's double T.
Yeah.
Quantumhealing.com.
Healing.
You need to help with the healing part as well. You can't spell that.
Sending to you now.
Send it
Yeah. Just take no notice.
Oh,
There it is. Right. So if anyone wants to get in touch with you, the link has just gone up.
Paul,
Yeah, and I've also got a Facebook Quantum Healing as well, the page. People
Okay.
can like, yeah. And can I just say something quick? And just
Yeah, go
believe in
for it,
yourself. Just believe in yourself that you can do it, and just believe, just believe you can. You just can.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, I know that, it's always really grateful, for you putting up all of the questions and everything and your responses. We can't get to everybody, unfortunately, in the time that we've got. Otherwise, we'll just not be able to keep the live stream moving. But, I've tried to get, as many of you up as possible and get your questions out, that kind of thing. If you are on those watch parties, again, by coming over to PT Paranormal, you'll be able to interact with us. Obviously, we're doing the live stream. We can't interact with you there where we share the live streams, but you're seeing it all. So please forgive us if we do not respond to you. It's just that we can't be in all places at once, kind of thing. But Ali, it's been fantastic having you here, and I've really enjoyed tonight's show.
No, thank you, and I'm really grateful for you to put me on, and I've really enjoyed it as well. Thank you very much for both of you.
No, absolutely pleasurable. So, Tony, what are we doing next week?
Next week is going to be a bit different. It's a bit more spookier. We're going to go through some captures we call that you haven't seen, some you have seen. And really, it is for you guys to sort of jump in and see what you think. It doesn't faze me or Paul if you think it's something else or not paranormal. We're, at the end of the day, we're all on different journeys. But it's just to share some of the captures and also get your points of view. And even for you guys to see if you've had any paranormal experiences, whether it's UFOs, aliens, ghosts. It's an open topic. So it's going to be quite an interesting one. And it probably will go on for a bit longer than an hour because there's a lot to go through. So, Paul, we might have to stop. Might have to be on a bit longer than an hour next week.
Yeah, it might just run over. So we'll see what happens. Right, guys. So, Ali, again, thank you so much for being here. We'd love to get you back on because it's been absolutely fascinating, and with so many people asking so many questions, it's been hard to kind of like just to keep up, with everything. So, we'll definitely get you back on again, and it's a subject that touches a lot of people. So.
No, thank you. I'm very grateful. Thank you very much.
More than welcome. So, guys, we'll say good night to everyone.
See you all again soon next week. Spooktacular. Have a spooktacular week.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.